Good evening, my dear YouTube viewers. Today also we will continue the scheduled technique. How we will make the questions in a particular order, that is in a societal order or sequential order. Number 1. Natural subject order. The order of questions should be such that the succeeding question should appear to follow naturally from the preceding. That is, the subsequent question may assume something to the earlier questions. But the earlier question should not contain things which are better explained in later questions. Here it is example. If you want to understand the second question, you can see the first. But if you want to understand the first question, you cannot see the second. That is the information. Second, integral wholeness of schedule. The question in a schedule should be so connected with each other that the entire schedule should appear to be a connected whole where nothing is out of place or unconnected. Every question is connected to the title of the program. Then, third, title-wise order. Firstly, the order of the title should be determined, and then questions under each title should be inserted. Somehow, anyhow, each question is connected with the title. Order by attractiveness. The questions may be arranged putting the most attractive questions on the top, that is in the first or the second question, and the least attractive questions at the bottom or the last. Next, fifth one, simple to complex order. Placing with regarding to the range of the questions, placing the first simple questions on the top, that is easily understandable question should be in the top, and deciding and the descending order, that is the placing the least simple or complex, that is the first level questions are simple and easily understandable. The later questions, if it complex, problem is less, that we are keeping at the bottom in the list. This appears to be an eminently suitable procedure of arrangement because if the interviewer starts with the simple questions, the respondent will be encouraged to cooperate. So here it is, the respondent will think, oh, the questions are very simple, we can easily answer to like that. We should create such a type of belief in their mind. But if he begins with the tough questions, the respondent will be discouraged. If you ask the very complicated questions at the initial stages, it may give the chaos and confuse, not interested to answer to them. Next, what are the merits of the schedule? Whereas in the questionnaire, that is another technique. Questionnaire method, the list of questions is dispatched to the respondent by post and they are requested to fill it up and return it by post. So if it is a questionnaire method, the questionnaire technique, we are sending the questionnaire papers to the respondent. He is not from the same place, he is out of the place, out of station, so we are sending it by post. Whereas in the schedule method or schedule technique, the research worker goes to the respondents. He will go to the directly the respondent house and present the list of questions and fills up the replies in the schedule himself. So the person may not answer, may not, even though he knows it, he cannot write it. On behalf of respondent, the research worker will fills it. As compared with the questionnaire and schedule, there is a lot of advantages also. Higher percentage of responses. It can be easily appreciated that the written of questionnaire depends exclusively on the goodwill of the respondent. If the respondent is educated, understandable, then he will send it with the good intentions. If they have slightest doubt, if the respondent is having the doubt and suspicion, they cannot respond and they cannot persuaded nor their suspicions removed, since no one is present to allay their doubts. Because in the absence of the research worker, he is going to the respondent is going to fill the questionnaire. At that time, so whatever the doubts he has, nobody will clarify their doubts. But whereas that is in the case of questionnaire. But in the case of schedule, a research worker is present that he can explain and persuade means make the other people to believe, even cajole the respondent make responses. On account of this, it is small wonder that the percentage of responses to schedule is much higher than those of questionnaire. By this, what we understood, the questionnaire is in the absence of the research worker, we are sending to somewhere else, whereas the schedule is before the respondent, we are going to fill it up. So comparatively, we are going to clarify the doubts. That's why schedule responses are more than the questionnaire responses. Personality factor. In as much as the research worker is interested with the job of getting the schedule filled up, he tries by all the means available to him to get the job done. Since he is well trained and informed about respondents' habits, etc., he is able to approach them in a way that they are influenced by his personality and charm. A person who knows his job well, behaves well, and also appears well, this is common observation. By watching their faces, by talking with them, we can easily understand their behavior. Next, personal contact. In the schedule method, there is personal contact between the respondent and the field worker. The behavior, character, and intelligence of the field worker succeeds often in winning the confidence of the respondents. So, when the research worker way of talking or getting the responses are very humbly, so that respondents are having the more interest to answer to the research worker. This obviously facilitates his task continuity. Next, human touch. Sometimes the reading a thing does not impress. If the researcher is simply reading the questionnaire, it never keeps the respondent very happy and get any impression as much as when the same is heard or spoken by the experts. Same dialogue the respondent is also heard from the other people. Like the other people, he is also getting the knowledge or listening from the research worker. There is no difference. They are able to lay right emphasis. So keeping all the points into consideration, the way of asking the questions to the respondent should be very attractive, simple, make the other people to impress. This greatly helps better response. Once again, we will review the information. Rules regarding the ordering of the questions or the social order of the questions. Number 1, natural subject order. The order of questions should be such that the succeeding questions should appear to follow naturally from the preceding. That is, the subsequent question may assume something to the earlier questions, but the earlier questions should not contain things which are better explained in later questions. Example, if there are 1, 2, 3 questions, if you want to understand any doubt at the second or the third question, we can go and see the first question. Whereas if you have the doubt in the first question, you cannot check the backside question. That is the next, second, third questions. That is the information regarding the natural order. Next, integral wholeness of schedule. This question is a schedule should be connected with each other, that the entire schedule should appear to be connected whole, where nothing is out of place or unconnected. Whatever the questions we made it and we are asking, you should be connected to the whole matter. Title wise order. Firstly, the order of title should be determined, and then questions under the title should be inserted. According to the title, we are going to insert the questions one after another. Order of attractiveness. The questions may be arranged putting the most attractive questions on the top and the last, that is less attractive questions. Here the attraction of the question is very important. Simple to complex. With regarding the range of the questions, place in the questions with the simple, easily, lucid, clearly understandable questions at the top, whereas in the next place is, instead of the simple, Non-simple or the complex questions, we should keep them at the bottom of the list. This appears to be eminently suitable procedure of arrangement. Why? Because if the interviewer starts the simple questions, the respondent will be encouraged to cooperate. But if he begins with the tough questions, the respondent will be discouraged. So start with the simple, humble, polite, with a good smile, then the respondent will get the good impression, then he will go through the next for the complex questions. Merits of schedule. Whereas in the questionnaire method, the list of questions is dispatched to the respondents by the post and they are requested to fill it up and return it by post. Here we are using the questionnaire technique and the schedule technique. In the questionnaire technique, we are sending the questionnaire to the questions prepared on the paper. That paper we are going to send it to somewhere else by the post. Nowadays we are getting easily through the WhatsApp or mail we are sending. But if it is the schedule method, the research worker goes to the respondent and presents them the list of questions and fills up the replies in the schedule himself. If it is the directly present before the respondent, whatever the respondent will say, he is going to write on behalf of respondent. Even compared with the questionnaire, the schedule has the more advantages. So one is absence of question, absence of the research worker, the respondent is filling up. In the presence of the research worker, the respondent is answering. Number 1, higher percentage of respondents. So from the questionnaire we are getting the more answers, or from the schedule we are getting the more answers, we will check it. It can be easily appreciated that the written of the questionnaire depends exclusively on the goodwill of the respondents. If they have a slightest doubt or suspicion, they would not respond and they cannot persuaded nor their suspicion removed, since no one is present to allay their doubts. This is nothing but in the absence of the research worker, in case the respondent will get the doubt, who will give the clarification to answer it or to write the answer? So it is a problem. If it is in the schedule technique, the research worker is present before him, he can explain and persuade, even cajole the respondent to make response. So whatever the doubts the respondent is having, he is ready to clarify it. On account of this, it is a small wonder that the percentage of responses of the schedule is much higher than those of questionnaire. Next, personality factor. In as much as the research worker is interested with the job of getting the schedule filled up, he tries by all the means available to him to get the job done. Since he is well trained and informed about respondents' habit, etc., he is able to approach them in a way that they are influenced by his personality and charm. Because if the research worker is the fresher, he will directly ask the questions in a dry manner. Sometimes the respondents are not ready to give them. So before that, we should maintain the good rapport with his dialogue. Develop the rapport or friendly relationship in an attractive manner, and also apply your general and cleverness to get the information from the respondent. So your external charm or the personality is also counted a lot. A person who knows his job well, behaves well, and also appears well. This is a common observation. Next, personal contact. In the schedule method, there is a personal contact between the respondent and the field worker. The behavior, character and intelligence of the field worker succeeds often in winning the confidence of the respondents. They obviously facilitates the tasks. Depending upon the field worker and the respondent conversation, if the respondent, when he will continue to give the answers, when the field worker way of questions are very pleasant, which gives the happiness and also laughable, at that time he wants to continue the interaction with the research worker. Human touch. Sometimes regarding things does not impress so much as when the same is heard or spoken by the experts. Not only the research worker what he is going to ask the respondent, the same questions also asked in the society or in the community by the other people. By that there is no much difference, either the common man or the expert person. They are able to lay right emphasis. So being a research worker, his way of asking the question should be always different with the common man. This greatly helps for the better response. By this, today's lecture is completed. This is Bindu taking leave from the YouTube platform. Please, if possible, please subscribe it. Good day and good night.